So, but you know, there's the stigma, there's the whole thing, like you don't, you know, there's no honor in it. There's no respect, there's no, and that's coming from yourself to yourself. There's no like, you just feel like that much more of a failure, you know? You feel like that much more of a damaged person when it's kind of confirmed, you know, that there is something wrong with you. Because it'd be better if they were like, no, it's all in your head, man. You're just freaking out. Like, don't worry about it. You know what I mean?
What do you think? Yeah. What do you think? How would you feel if when you went in, then you're feeling like that? If they were just like, you know what? Don't worry about it. Everybody feels like this. You're not. There's nothing really that wrong with you. It's just, you know what? It's like what if the perspective on what if the whole conversation
I think that, you know what,
was different around it, right?
Whenever I run into somebody that's, especially a young person, or like, because I put myself out there as someone that helps people and stuff, and I have that reputation, which is good and bad too, you know what I mean? But I just shut the fuck up and listen. You know what I mean? Like, just listen. Like, tell me what's up. And when I was younger, you don't even want to fix people. You want to help people. But I think the best thing you can do is just listen. And if you feel compelled to tell something, share something that's going to be helpful for the benefit of that person, share it. Otherwise, most people in that situation, I think a lot of people, at least in my experience, they just need to say what's happening to them and feel like they're not crazy, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck yeah, I felt that way, dude. You totally feel nuts. And that's totally normal to feel like what you're feeling is completely normal given the circumstances you're in. You know? And it's like, again, I'm not trying to pull in the cancer world in here, but it's relevant because a lot of people, when they finish treatment, okay, for cancer, they fucking, they get depressed, man. Like, for different reasons that you don't even understand. And everyone's expecting you to be happy and overjoyed that the experience is over. But again, that's oftentimes when you start processing it. It's like some of my friends that are pro fighters don't even remember the fight that they're in until the fight's over. And then they're at home on the couch with their girlfriend and they're talking and they're kind of going through it then, you know what I mean? When they're out of harm's way. They're processing the event. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how it was with me. And I think, again, that's where a lot of the struggle with the, you know, I was already having a hard time with my head, but then it was kind of like, holy shit, now I got to process this too, and what does that mean, and everything else. And yeah, I'm a thinker, and I come from, you know, I've always been a heavy kind of thinker, but you know, I just think that if somebody would have sat me down and said, all right, tell me what's going on, you know, and like, listen to me back then with actual interest. And I think as a community, that's where a community comes into play, like your elders and stuff. Like, you don't need to go see a doctor necessarily. You talk to old people, man, like, you know, mm-hmm. and be like, just talk to them, and then if someone comes up to you, it's just listen, you know, and don't make fun of them, and don't, like, you know what I mean, don't belittle, because to a 20-year-old going through, like, you know, panic attacks and shit, and you're like 50 or whatever, like, yeah, it might seem not as heavy, but to that person it's absolutely heavy, right?
Yeah.
And you gotta kind of respect it and at least sit back. But I think it could have been handled differently, for sure. I just felt like it was, okay, you're feeling this, you're feeling that, okay, great, tick off these boxes, here's the pills that come at the end of all that, and come see me in 3 weeks, you know? I mean, that was it. Like, then you go home and just take the pills and try and figure it out. Again, it's over 20 years ago, so things have changed now. I don't know, I haven't been involved with the system as a patient in forever, so I don't know how it is now. But I certainly know that online, there's lots of places to go. There's lots of help online. I think too much sometimes maybe, but again, if you can find what works for you, I think the physical is important, the meditation, all that shit, just breathing. Fuck it, not even trying to meditate, just breathe. You know, breathe and ground yourself and feel your body and all that. But I still think we have a long way to go. But I still think we're figuring the basics out. Like, we're figuring out love. We're figuring out fear. We're living in a society now where we still react. We still are driven by very primitive feelings, which may not have a real purpose anymore. You know? Like, we're still figuring shit out. I think we take life so goddamn seriously, and like we're supposed to know everything, and we're supposed to be fucking perfect, when really, life used to be about fire, shelter, food, and some kind of a community to work together to keep going. I think that, you know, the problems we have in society, a lot of very poor places have some of the happiest people, man. They don't have a lot of the mental illness problems we do. Why? Because they're too fucking busy looking for something to eat. They're too busy looking for fresh water. They're too busy trying to, like, you know, survive. They're not burdened by choice. They're not burdened by comfort. You know, they're not burdened. Like, you ask some people that are depressed and taking medication for anxiety, a lot of them are like, well, you know, I'm in a bad financial situation, right? I'm in debt, or I'm going bankrupt, and it's all this shit that's imposed, or not imposed, but it's, you know, it's there for the taking, and if you get embroiled in that,
It's sold to them.
You know what I mean? It's the life you choose to lead that causes some of these problems, and then it's rolled into the mental health, you know, mental illness. Oh, well, he's got depression. Well, no, he's depressed because he fucking got up to his eyeballs in debt, cheated on his wife, and he's got a fucking coke habit. You know, that's why you're depressed and feeling anxious, you know? But what started all that, you know?
Yeah.
What started all that? Where's the beginning of it all? I know I'm going off track, but you know, you follow what I'm saying, like...
I do.
I don't know, man. It's just... I think we complicate our lives to a degree that we get into states of mind that you really there was no business getting into. We did it to ourselves, you know? Like Donald Trump, man.
Let's not even go there.
You know, we did it to ourselves. They did it to themselves. And that's what really hurts. Maybe you should write a song about that. Do it to yourself.
Could be a good one. Could be a hit.
Maybe. Oh my.